why don't we address some of the pain points organizations have to solve with AI now? Because as you're pointing out, the digital divide now is between organizations that are using AI and those who are still not using AI. So what about the fantastic technologies that we're dealing with right now? Because people get lost. People think AI is chatbot. People think it's agents, it's machine learning, it's all the algorithm, it's all of this combined. So what's your take?
It's all of the above. It's all of the above. So maybe I'll start at, again, like you said, the books itself is about demystifying. So rather than start with a technical definition or a computer science definition of what AI is in terms of Turing's definition or Norwig's definition, I'll start with a very fundamental human definition of what we want AI to be. And let's work our way backwards into the enterprise. And then after that, what we want AI to be is we want it to be augmented intelligence, we want it to be assistive intelligence, we want it to be amplified intelligence. Humans recognize that for all the strengths that we bring to the table, we are also subject to things like emotions, various types of biases, various types of sampling biases, confirmation biases. We get tired. I may take a different decision when I'm happy versus when I'm sad, right? So we recognize all of this. We never assume that we are perfect. So what we can let AI do is we want AI to help us be more human, to bring more empathy, to bring more care. Because in the end, humanity is not defined by how efficient my artificial neural network is compared to the network inside over here. Our desire is to make AI work for us. Always has been, always will be. Right? I don't see this dystopian future. So, from an enterprise standpoint, AI really has to be the things that not just that human, sometimes machines can do, intelligent machines can do more effectively. It can also be bringing new capabilities that humans can't do on their own or can't do as efficiently, or that takes away from employees, managers, team members, individual contributors from being more human. So, for example, to talk about one of the case studies which you liked, if you take a look at the Document AI case study, what we found is we were not only able to use one A word, automate the process of referral and intake automation working together with UCSF CDHI. What we also found there was the patient experience started improving, the physician experience started improving, the referral automation intake specialist experience started improving. And it really got to a point where the benefits of the AI were not just operational, even though they were significant. It was also the human impact that was being created. There are several examples in the book, as you know, Irene, of ones where we expect and design the AI to do something, but it ends up in creating a lot more value as a part of the multiplicity effect. That, I think, is probably the biggest takeaway after being in the front lines doing this for 5 years in various roles, which is the truly transformational ability is here to stay, and business leaders must be focused on leveraging that as soon as possible, because otherwise the new digital divide is certainly not going to be geographical.
Let's move to something next here. People talk about metaverse. How dystopian is it, you think, or maybe very real?
I'm actually one is I tend to be maybe a bit of a skeptic on anything where people say that it's going to be the absolute new way of doing things and it's going to replace everything, or it's going to be the only way things are going to be done. Partly because, as somebody, as you know, Irene, with a background not just in the sciences and in engineering, but also with a background in linguistics and humanities, and also as a student of history, I believe that the interaction between humans and machines, whether they are mechanical machines or they're electrical machines or they are intelligent machines moving forward, learning machines, learning ecosystems, I think it's going to be driven to a large extent by humans always asking the question, what can machines do for me? What can you do for me? Right? So the second thing is, just as we have also seen, and it's something I wrote about in my last book, when the whole world in 2017 was talking about self-driving cars essentially being the only way we would all be driving in 2022, I posited that sometimes technology has to keep pace with society, and not just society, with your users, with your employees, with your consumers, with your board, with your shareholders. So I think the dystopian future, is it possible that it can happen where some super AGI is going to do it? I guess it's possible. It's also possible, as it has happened before, that a meteorite could come and hit the earth and wipe us all out. Yes, in the large scheme of possibilities, I guess it could happen. But I think the relationship between humans and technology, humans and machines, society and technology, is going to be more towards harnessing AI to help us. Have said this consistently for quite a few years now, and I'm glad to see other people following suit. I believe that AI will create more jobs than ever before, more fulfilling jobs than ever before, and more happier employees, happier customers, and happier users if we give it a chance.